Do you find it hard to sit with your emotions, to experience them, to feel them? Well, don't feel weird about it. A lot of people struggle with this. And today I had this client who really has a difficult time connecting with her emotions and her feelings, especially on her own when she's alone at home, like outside of the sessions. It's, she doesn't seem to manage to feel them, to connect with them, because on one hand she's trying to postpone it and push it away, not having to deal with it, and on the other hand she's really uncomfortable with it. And why are people uncomfortable with sitting or feeling or experiencing their emotions? It can be for numerous reasons, but oftentimes it is because we are not familiar with the thing. Maybe when we were young, we weren't taught how to connect with our feelings. Maybe we didn't have an example. Maybe there was not so much of an open communication at home where people talked about these things or asked about these things, in which it makes it more easy to express those things, and also to get the feeling that it's okay to experience negative emotions. Because in our culture, the culture where I'm from, I cannot speak for the overall culture, but for many clients in my practice, they've mostly learned that that there are positive emotions and that there are negative emotions. And also, in growing up, social media or society in general, it seems like positive emotions are usually more welcomed or accepted than maybe feeling sad or feeling angry or being scared. While actually there's no distinction between emotions or feelings. They are all just states of our emotional being that we can experience. They are all human experiences, and not one of them is better or worse than the other. And oftentimes when we do experience these kind of negative emotions, then we start to feel bad about ourselves because we're not supposed to feel those things, or the fact that I'm feeling this, there must be something wrong with me, or I should be worried, and this often happens when we didn't learn as a child that those kind of emotions are just part of humanness, and that they are all should be welcomed and accepted. And so it's kind of the unfamiliarity with it, not being skilled at it, that makes it really uncomfortable sitting with our emotions and feeling them and connecting with them. It's also our own image of those feelings, our own idea about these kind of emotions and feelings, or misconceptions that we have that there must be something wrong with me, or I must be really weak for feeling this, that we start to like judge our emotional state in those moments, which doesn't help at all. So those are some reasons. It can also be because how we've handled with our emotions so far until now can also be a block in feeling and experiencing our emotions. Like sometimes when we experience something in our life that has been really difficult or in some way kind of like traumatic, and we haven't found a way to cope with it, or we didn't find a way to cope with it in that moment, then we tend to like push it aside or suppress it or not look at it anymore, but it will stay in our system. So then what then can happen is that because of this block that we have, it makes it impossible for us or more difficult for us to experience other type of feelings and emotions later on. And sometimes I compare this with, sometimes I use a metaphor and I compare us as humans as onions. And with an onion you have like multiple layers that an onion can have. And what I see with clients is that when I try to like work on stuff or emotional stuff with them that they need healing in, then sometimes it's really hard for clients to connect with a certain feeling because or some experience that they had in their life, because one layer of that onion has like blocked all the other layers. Like, it has like encapsulated, or there's come like a heavy layer around it, and it's hard to get through that to experience other kind of emotions. So what we have done then is to like shut down with that kind of layer, and then you get people who are like really tired, or they lack energy, or it's really impossible for them to experience joy or happiness because this kind of like traumatic layer has like shut down the system to experience anything, because it is like a pipeline and something got cluttered in it, and because of that we cannot experience any kind of emotions. And then sometimes it's really hard for people to like try to connect with their feelings or experience their emotions or sit with them, because they're also kind of like afraid of, but what if I'm gonna connect with that? What's gonna come up? What's gonna come out of it? Because I've been suppressing for so long, until this time, that, and I don't think that this is always like a conscious realization. Sometimes it can be subconscious, but that we're kind of like afraid of maybe these like buried emotions from the past, that whenever we will try to connect with that layer, a lot of other layers will come to the surface. So this can also be a reason why it's difficult to connect with certain feelings and emotions that we experience. And then with this client I saw today, it's always advisable to like reach out for help, or to seek out a therapist or someone to talk to in your environment, that together, while not being alone, we learn to find a way to like connect back with those feelings. So I hope this has been helpful, and see you later. Bye.